record this. It's already on here. Dang! Here, record this. Record it. It's already on. Armbar, Tyler. Bob, Tyler. Bob, Tyler. Bob, Tyler.
She's heavy right now.
Bob, Tyler. Bob. Bob. Bob, side shrimp. Bob and side shrimp, Tyler. Bob and side shrimp. Stack. Get your arm in. There we go. Get your arm in. Stack them. Stack them. Stack them, Tyler.
Watch him go for the ankle lock. Go for it.
How do you zoom in and zoom out?
This is for the zoom. Look.
Look how HD. That looks so HD.
Do this, Tyler. Do this to zoom. Use your head. Use your head. Extra turn. Use your head. Up and turn. There we go. Keep going. Go. Go. Use your feet. Use your feet. Watch your brakes. Watch your brakes, Tyler. Buck. Reverse to number one. Buck. Buck and roll. Pick your side, Tyler. Go. Go. There we go. Go, Tyler. Come on. Do something. Break his bar. Break his bar, Tyler.
2-point split.
Insert your knee. Insert your knee.
Come on, Tyler.
Insert your knee, Tyler. Insert your knee. Insert your knee. Insert your knee.
There you go, under it.
Tyler, knee.
Watch this.
Come on, Andrew. Knee, Tyler.
Underhook the leg. Gunso.
What the crap is that?
There you go. Jerk your leg out hard.
Take it out.
And pull it out a little more on top. Come on, Tyler. There you go. About the down water. Put your leg in. Use your other foot. Push it out. Use your other foot. Push it out. There you go. Stay on top. Head out. Turn. Tyler. Places. Winner. One.
He's just off his second no-gi victory. We got back from the Wild West Karate sparring and grappling tournament this last weekend. What'd you think about that second competition you did?
Really hard. The kid was really quick and
He was strong.
yeah, he was really strong.
He was built.
Yeah, and
I think he was juicing.
what?
He was on steroids. I think that he had some like amino acids or something in his Fruit Loops.
Probably because he told me he was homeschooled.
Oh yeah? He looked like he was homeschooled. He had a little bit of attitude. He was like looking at you all mad, like he wanted to bite you or something at the end of the match. But it was a good match. You won like 10-4. Did a little last minute coaching right there. You had your ankle lock a little bit and you kind of got the escape right there. So what do you think, what's your experience? You've been training, what, 4 or 5 months now? MMA, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, like how do you feel about training? What do you think about it?
It's really fun, really hard kind of, but other than that, it's fun to do. A lot of exercise. But yeah, I put a lot into it.
Yeah. Did you think you'd do as well as you've done so far with grappling against some of these kids that have been training for 2 or 3 years? I mean, you've been fighting some kids that have been training for a little bit, and you're like, you know,
I was like really surprised with what I could do. I was kind of really nervous when I was there because I saw the kids since like the beginning of the karate tournament.
Yeah.
I saw him when he was doing his moves and everything. I was kind of really nervous. He was trying to intimidate us. So
He had his little like booty shorts on. And had his like a double XL cup. He's like 13 with a triple XL cup on. It was a little much, but what do you think about like your future as far as like fighting or competing? Like, do you want to do MMA someday? Do you want to compete no-gi? Like, what do you think your goals are going to be for that?
I don't know, just whenever it comes up, but I'm hopefully I can get like at least a cage fight one of these days.
Yeah, you want to try at least once. That's the ultimate. I think fighting somebody in the cage is like, I mean, that's about as primal as you can get, besides like, like Thunderdome or a pit with like dogs. And I mean, it's pretty, it's primal. There's no sport like it. Everybody talks about sports being this and that, but the most exciting part of any sport is when everybody fights. Even Ethan, one of the other students, we were like, what do you think of this sport or that sport? He's like, oh, I went to watch this basketball game. I said, did they have a fight? He goes, yeah, there's a fight. And I said, wasn't that the most exciting part of the thing? He's like, yeah. Joe Rogan says, man, every sport is people trying to like pretend that they're fighting. Like when they're on the field with all these players and all these other players, it's like an old like thing of them doing battle. Like if we can get our ball to your end of the court, then we win the battle. And Joe Rogan's like, man, just put the silly ball away and just get out there and fight like men. Stop playing with your little ball, take your pads off, and go in there and fight like men. But Andrew's been very awesome. His brother Tony's been an excellent athlete as well. We got a lot of great kids here. We haven't been here that long, but we're already, making an impact here in Abilene, I know we're going to make a big impact all over West Texas with both MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, and I'm really proud of these guys. They brought home like 10 or 11 trophies this last weekend, and then we have our own event June 1st, and I kind of hope that kid from Kingdom will come back out and give him another shot, right? Yeah, so anyway, CJJ. Ooh.
Something's got to give. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. How are we going to talk about inappropriate stuff for the kids around?
I guess we're not.
Huh?
I guess we're not. It's going to be the PG version of the Jimmy Ninja Entertainment MMA podcast. To my left here, your right, is the world famous, hey ladies, I need the quietness now. You guys can go over there on the hammock. That's alright. We got the children in tow, the little Misses. And I got the world famous here, Cody, Corazound, Big Heart, Halford. One of the greatest amateur 155ers that came out of Texas, now with a 2-0 record as a professional, man. That's pretty impressive. So, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. So what's
pretty good about that.
how do you feel about the whole amateur, now you're fighting pro? Like, what do you feel about that whole transition and the difference? What are you laughing at?
Twinkle.
There's a lot. I mean, it's.
Oh, it's
I
really?
don't know. There's a lot of people that go pro before they should, so it's kind of, you're working with the same, kind of pretty much the same skill set a lot of times. So as far as I've experienced, I don't know. It's awesome to get paid.
Yeah, it is awesome to be paid. That is a fun part of fighting.
Yeah.
Getting a check at the end. I remember your first fight at the Civic Center at Premier Fight Night. Was it 3? 4?
1.
4.
No, it was 2.
Well, I don't need that one. I meant the first pro show. I remember you getting your check and you left it on the table and didn't even bother to look at it till I think right before you left. Like you pretty much would have fought, I think, whether you were paid or not.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I had been up until that point.
Yeah, you're so used to it. You're just like, they're paying me. What is this?
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't really been any payoff other than the joy of doing it. That's why people do MMA. They don't.
Yeah,
I don't think it's for money, because there isn't really money in it, except for the top tier. You know what I'm saying?
You spend more on tape than you get paid.
Yeah.
But we were saying you felt like a lot of the amateurs didn't put in the time before they go pro. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Expand upon that thought.
I think a lot of people like just the title of, yeah, I'm a pro fighter. You know, I think it's less about making a real career out of it. I think a lot of them don't really, necessarily believe that's why they're training for, or they're just stupid. They're just maybe not stupid. They're just full. Trying to think of the right word.
Yeah, you're right. They have an illusion or a fantasy of being this like UFC fighter by fighting in local shows. They haven't really taken their career serious, like you, by stacking up a lot of amateur fights, a lot of training experience, doing gi, doing stand up, doing no gi, competing.
Yeah.
Just really, being very serious.
I mean, I got 5 years in pretty much training.
Before your first pro fight.
Yeah. Almost 5 years before my first pro. No, I think I might have. But
don't let the kitty cat. Be quick.
But
all right, here we are. You be quiet. Here we are on the phone with Bounmy, the Laotian lover Somchay. How are you doing, Bounmy?
I'm super. I'm great.
Bounmy is a king of the cage fighter. Guy's fought in Bellator, Muay Lao fighter. Fought some of the best in South Florida, and I was there for one of the most triumphant fights I ever saw when you beat Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt undefeated Mauricio Armali. That was just probably the most outstanding fight I ever had the pleasure of being present for.
I had to learn Jiu-Jitsu on job,
Oh yeah, well, we all know that. Yeah, lucky for a lot of the guys you fought in the beginning who the only way they were really even able to defeat you was use their jiu-jitsu, because they didn't want none of your Muay Lao.
No stand up.
Yeah. But you figured it out. I mean, after training a few years with me, and then you spent some time with Team Noguera and Blackhouse and Wald, and your jits looked pretty strong. That fight. I mean, you controlled that fight a lot.
Yeah, it's just you became to the point that you became calm more now. So they take you down. Oh, it's nothing. You just relax, go with it, and get out, and go at it some more.
What was it like making that transition from Muay Lao? A lot of people don't know Muay Lao is just the Laos version of Muay Thai to cage fighting, mixed martial arts fighting. What was that like?
Oh, it's similar. It's pretty much similar to the ground, but the art is just on the locket. It's just faster. And the MMA is a more faster pace, non-stop. So I guess I kind of incorporate the fighting into it real fast,
Yeah.
The crawling, the explosion from the ground and straight up.
Yeah, a lot of people, they always went on and on about your heart. You took on a lot of guys last minute.
I was learning. It was about heart too. I was learning as fast as I can.
Yeah, but you were incredible. I mean, in the short time that you fought, I mean, you created quite a legend for yourself. Because everybody was, anytime you fought, people were, glued to their chairs in excitement to see you fight. And, I mean, you stepped up and fought some guys. Like, you fought Level, who's a great friend of ours now, who came from the whole Kimbo Slice backyard brawling scene in Kendall. And you guys had a scrap.
Oh, yeah, I made a couple of his videos.
I want to talk about some other things. You've been fighting now, and you have your amateurs, you got your pros. What do you got? Anything coming up that we can look forward to?
I'm hoping to get a fight, around July, or Premier's got another amateur event in June 15th. But we were trying to get one around the same time, but it's probably not. From what I can tell, it's probably not going to happen. Gotcha. We're probably going to go a little later.
Yeah. So we're going to have a no-gi over at CJJ. June 1st, if you're interested.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I have
a few schools. I have a few schools already.
And then you also had sparring, right?
Sparring, we're not so sure about yet because we're not sure about the rules as far as regulations and wise. But no gi for sure.
Probably no elbows. Just take the elbows out.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it does anything, it'll be like full pads and all that stuff, and maybe like 3:45 second rounds.
What? 45-second rounds?
Yeah, just because it's got to short. Well, it's got to stay short and safe. There's a lot of regulations based on whether you can do that or not. But right now, I'm not even focused on that. The no gi is a definite. I got definitely some schools coming, and we're looking forward to that.
No gi if you do gi.
We're not doing gi, but I want to do gi again. But the thing is, right now with the new school, just the price of getting gis and getting gis on all the students is But besides that, I don't know what else is going on. Let's see. MMA's been pretty hopping around.
Oh
here.
man, did you see what do you call it? Zagano?
Yes.
Cat Zagano
Yes.
fight Tate?
Amazing.
Oh my god. Can you believe all that whining about just barely touching the mat on the first knee? Literally, her hand was coming up off the floor and she was just touching it with her fingertips, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at this picture." And she got knee with her hand down. She was getting up.
The same thing happened with the guy who just recently fought. Who's the big Gonzaga?
Yeah.
They said he got like a bunch of the headshots.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of them in the back
the elbow in the back of the head.
But here's my point about that particular situation. You're in there to win a fight. And if you are...
I eat one elbow, I'm letting go of that.
But it's not even that. I mean, you're in there to win a fight.
Yeah.
And let's say the first two were legal. They were on his head, okay? And just like her, if the mat even touched the mat for a second, we're not in there to pick apart little technical rules. You're in there to win a fight. That's your first objective. Yeah. And if you lose the fight because, you got kneed 6 times and Matt grazed the mat once, or he nailed you with the first 2 and then 2 or 3 more hit you in the back of the head after the fact, after you were already going down, you were losing the fight. You lost the fight. That's almost, to me, that just sounds like a little whining. It's just a crybaby.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fight was stopped earlier.
You win the fight or you lose. Yeah, Tate could have kept going.
Yeah, because she was coming in and shooting. She didn't fall down. She was shooting.
But that thing's always been the same with the referees. The referees are going to step in when they want, and they're going to...
Well, that's what they're there for. They're there to keep them safe. And if a fight gets stopped a little early rather than a little late, that's kind of what they're there for. The idea is for the people not to get smashed where they get hurt.
Yeah. I mean, safety is, I think, above all else, because I want to see the sport stay competitive. You over here recording the dog? What are you doing?
No, I'm recording you.
I want to see the sport stay competitive. I don't want to see it turn into some violent blood sport. So I'm fine with the referees stepping in. I want the referees to step in when they think they should, because that's what they're there for. And legitimately, you're either winning a fight or you're not. It's very rarely that it's...
Well, I think Tate was she might have won the second round, but the first round for sure. Second round, I don't know. It could have went the other way if it would have went the decision. It could have went the other way.
Well, anyway, I got Corazound here. He's a purple belt.
Did you hear about Josh Rosenthal? Josh Rosenthal, the ref.
What about him?
He got caught with over 1,000 marijuana plants inside of a warehouse. He's going to jail for
no way.
Yeah, almost 3 years or something like that.
Oh man, over a plant.
Over a plant. Over 1,000 freaking illegal plants.
But they're plants.
Yeah, he's obviously a distributor.
I don't think plants should be illegal though. Come on. Why do we have soldiers guarding poppy plants in Afghanistan? Come on. The plants are so bad. I don't get it. Plus, I always hear that the pot's a drug. Drugs are things that you mix with other chemicals and you make pills or serums. Weed is a plant that you dry and smoke. That's not a drug. Isn't that the definition of drug?
So would cigarettes be considered drugs in your book?
No, it's tobacco.
No, it's not just tobacco. All the chemicals that are added to tobacco to make cigarettes.
But they make chemical-free tobacco, like the American Spirit. It's tobacco-free. But I mean, you could say Cheerios are a drug. Oh, there's sugar, and the kids after they eat them, they're
Yeah. Chemicals though. They added chemicals.
as what's his name? The scientist says. He says just say no. KNOW. Get informed. I'm here with Corazound. That means heart in Portuguese. He's one of the best 155 pounders coming out of West Texas. Hopefully we'll get him out to a UFC tryout. If not, make sure you check out his next fight. I'm sure it'll be at Premier Fight Night 5, I think, is coming up. And appreciate you, brother.
Maybe 6 probably.
Yeah, anyway, you fought Level, from the Kimbo Slice back brawl scene and the Rumble at the Rock. You fought Ricky. I knew him by Eric Morrell, but Ricky from American Top Team. Ricky was I think a USKA or a World Muay Thai champion. Did you know that? You guys had an outstanding.
Yeah, I knew that. I did. I had to do like teaching and stuff. I taught at his school. His teacher, but he was taught. And I ran the school there for a little bit. It's over Sunrise somewhere.
Yeah, ATT Sunrise, I think.
Yeah, something.
With Braga. Yeah, and I don't know, man. I mean, you just had like a really outstanding few years. I remember the day you walked in with all your bags in tow and all your Muay Thai pads, and you didn't really know anything about jiu-jitsu, but you were like, put me in there, I want to fight, and you were willing to fight anybody, anytime, and eventually that got us into Bellator, and you fought in King of the Cage, and
those were last minute.
Yeah, everything was.
Up, it was last minute. Okay. I want to absorb as much in as possible, then I dominate as much as I can. It's on the job training,
Yeah. But you started the name Muay Lao there, and you were. I was actually managing you for a while. Then eventually, I had my last fight against Rafael Rebello. I fought under your banner, Muay Lao, and Jason's still fighting. Your nephew Jason, you got him going, and he's still fighting with the Muay Lao banner. What's your hope as far as seeing with the, what do you see Muay Lao becoming in the United States as far as you bringing that from Laos and here to the United States?
Well, it's growing. We got another Laos kid, Anthony. He's 135 too, from I think Philadelphia, Boston area over there. Yeah, he just became pro. Another Laos kid.
What did Thomas say to you after that one fight? I was looking at the picture right now. I'm trying to remember what he said to you.
I kind of forgot. What did he say?
Was that when you were like Buddha bless and you started cursing and then you apologized for cursing?
I was good because I was talking.
You were excited,
yeah. I had to learn the job on site. This wrestling stuff.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm ready. I'll do anybody. I was telling him.
Yeah, well, we got a lot of guys started through the Muay Lao. Jose, Colombian Necktie Cortez, Jeff Henry, Travis. All these guys are now over at the Jocko Training Center with Black Zillions now. They're still fighting. I mean, I met Jeff on the street at Boca. He came out of the neighborhood. And Jose had always been boxing, and he told me, I want to do some MMA. He calls me up one day. I'm like, well, let's go. And, I think we got something beautiful.
Jason's there, too. Jason's there. They do it there about time, too.
Yeah, there's a picture of you in Level.
The Yuri family, same group.
Yeah, Yuri Villafort, you fought, yeah.
Same group. They always travel with them with LNL. We train with them, too. They're both respectful guys, We train with them anytime,
Yeah, they're over at Black Zillion with Rashad and Alistair over him. And here's a picture of you in Level.
They were there with the premiere. I trained with them a couple of times. So it was pretty cool. We're still good friends. I'll fight them again, I tell them. But you come around 155, not 170.
Yeah. So what's in the future for Bounmy Somchay? I mean, I know a lot of people in South Florida would like to see you come back, and a lot of people all over would like to see you come back. You have any intention of coming back to MMA?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just right now, it was just legal problems and stuff. Now I'm back in the groove and making money money again. And
Yeah. They're trying to deport. Are they trying to deport you?
Deport me? Oh no, they want to.
What do you think? About the fighting in Laos compared to the fighting you've experienced here in America? Like, what's the biggest differences, do you think?
Oh, explain that. Give me an example.
Well, like MMA, you got to fight MMA. You fought Muay Lao a lot. What's the biggest difference?
Mostly stand up, like regular stand up fight. Go up, come back down. It's pretty much. I was more of a stand up fighter than a ground fighter.
Yeah, but I think MMA is better for you because I think you're a fighter at heart, and it gave you the freedom.
I learned even more karate. There's some of the Muay Lao, the old tradition, Muay Baran and stuff. How to incorporate those stuff into it.
Yeah.
Because it was coming back to me, I started training more Baran stuff. And some of the grappling, the throwing, where you could incorporate with the jiu-jitsu and stuff. It was just pretty much a warfare fighting style, pretty much too.
Yeah.
So, Baran stuff.
Well, you're a wild man, and we hope to see you here. And actually, I want to bring you to Abilene soon to do a Muay Lao seminar, and do some stuff with the people here in Abilene because there's a lot of Muay Thai. There's a lot of Muay Thai fans and Muay Lao fans here that'll
They're all
really.
the same. They're all family.
Yeah, but they'll really enjoy training with you, and I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you real soon. Hold on for me, all right?